been for all of these families involved. Heather Hansen is a trial attorney, and Deborah Blum is a criminal defense attorney, and they join me now. Good to have you both here. Heather, what did he get the year for? And he has an appeal in this case, right?
Yes, he definitely has an appeal. He got the year for simply having sex with someone who was underage. He was not convicted of forcible rape. The other count that he was convicted of was luring her in through Facebook. He did not get the year for that. That was set aside as a suspended sentence. So the sentence here was actually not that harsh. He faced up to 11 years, but he's choosing to appeal it based on the fact that there were some, what they say, legal problems with the case. And so he will not go to jail until that appeal is done.
All right. So, Deborah, what do you think about the sentence that he got?
I agree with Heather's analysis. We have to look at the trial that occurred here, and there are some appealable issues. Friends of his came in to testify that he admitted to having sexual relations with the girl. Lewd messages that he posted online came into play at the trial. Arguably, a lot of those things could have been suppressed, so it's possible that his appeal could be granted. This is a very unfortunate circumstance. There's also admissions by the girl that they were having positive relations after the sexual act occurred. So the jury did not find that it was non-consensual. Right. So a lot of this just boils down to the fact of the underage issue and perhaps a lot of the things that came into play at the trial.
Boy, I mean, it's a cautionary tale for all young people who constantly, communicate with each other over text messages and on Facebook, that all of this can and will come into play if there's an accusation of sexual misconduct on the part of a party here. What about the fact that the judge, Heather, said that Labrie was not credible and that he was, quote, a very good liar? Is that fair?
Well, to my mind, what the judge did was step on what the jury was doing in this case. It's the jury's job to determine credibility. It's the judge's job to determine the law. So for him to speak out and say that he did not find the witness credible, really that should have no bearing on whether or not the sentence is appropriate. I think that the judge was frustrated by this young man. I think the judge probably felt that the young man was guilty of some of the counts that he was not found guilty of. But I don't think it was his place to say his opinion at that particular time.
Yeah, interesting. All right, I want to get quick thoughts from you both on Coach Kennedy, who we've covered this story. He, at the end of the games, routinely goes to the middle of the field and takes a knee. And over time, both teams, his own team and the other team in many cases, have come out there with him to pray. It's completely voluntary. And now he is in a very tough situation and losing his position at the school. Let's play a little bit of Coach Kennedy from this morning on Fox and Friends.
It's really interesting that they gave me a couple different things. You could go hide in the press box, or we could give you a room somewhere where no one can see you. Like, I should be ashamed of my faith and I should have to hide it. And that sounds very discriminative and just wrong as an American.
All right. So, Deborah, they told him that he could go somewhere private, like go in a closet or perhaps under the bleachers if you want to pray, but please don't do it where anybody can see you. He said, look, I'm going to keep doing what I've always been doing. He believes it's a freedom of speech issue and a freedom of religion issue. And now they have suspended him, Deborah. What's next?
Well, there is a separation between church and state in the United States of America, and he was told multiple times to stop praying. It obviously made somebody feel uncomfortable. Religion and spirituality is beautiful, but this is a public high school, and you're not supposed to have open prayer sessions on a football stadium, at a football stadium. So that's what's happening here.
A lot of people disagree with that. We got to go. We've got breaking news. Ladies, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Just running down this